Hey guys, this is Karen again from Plattr, and I have a really great little tidbit to share with you today. I actually got someone to send me, brave enough, I want to say, to send me one of their articles to rip up. And so I'm so excited about this one. So this particular article, by the way, I am at an airport. I just finished up the Hannapin PPC conference here in Philadelphia. It's my first time here. Went to go run up the rocky steps and everything. Didn't get to see the Liberty Bell, but hey, hopefully next time. This is a really fun city. Gotta say, not super impressed with the Philly cheesesteaks. That was a little bit of a letdown, but super impressed with the hoagies. Not that okay. So I had an airport hoagie. Does that count? So I had an airport hoagie. It was really good. But an Amish donut. And fair warning: do not Urban Dictionary that because it's not very pretty, but it's just really funny because I had to look it up when it was one of my recommendations from a buddy of mine. Anyway, not safe for work, I'll tell you that right now. So this is an article about how to throw a football. The article is right over here. The very first thing you want to do before you start writing an article, especially if it's something that you want to rank, go after the number one guy, right? We talked about this in my last video about the competitive kill article. And so I just pulled a random keyword, how to throw a football. I don't know any SEO value behind this already yet, right? So don't know how much volume it has. I just want to see, if I were to naturally search for this topic, what's going to come up, right? So how to throw a football came up. And I'm not surprised to see WikiHow here, especially, the way that they're titling things. They've got the star rating. We kind of talked about this at the last TNC. We'll talk about that on another day, but this is particularly, just ripping up the article on the SEO side, and it's really easy ways and ways that you can not only improve quality, that's the purpose of today's video, but also fast and easy things that you can do to improve the SEO and the rankings. So notice how WikiHow has they've got a lot of rankings here. They've got the position 0 snippet. They've got, it looks like Instructables has the question snippets, and the way you get this is by doing structured data. And they've got position 1 and position 2 on a different article. Awesome. So I'm here in the article itself, and because I'm on airport Wi-Fi, I have it all geared up and ready to go. Look how prepared I am today. How to throw a football right over here. It's in typical WikiHow form. The very first thing I want to do is see what keywords that they're ranking for here. And here's where my SEO exercise comes into play, right? So the very first thing is pop up your Hrefs, look in your overview. They've got 265 keywords that they're ranking for. They used to rank for a whole lot more back in the day. Oh, I'm sorry, these are domains. It's been a relatively sustaining keyword for them here. Getting about 3,000 hits a month, not too shabby. It is a very particular search, so the intent of the search is obviously for information, right? So let's put that in the back of our minds for a second. Let's look at the actual keywords that these folks are ranking for, and this is where my SEO value now comes into play. The very first thing that I do, of course, I do care about the position, but right now I kind of care about the volume. Right? What kind of volume am I really looking after, and how much competition is there around this particular volume? And the competition, if you can see, this is on a scale of 1 to 100, a 4 is nada, right? So this is going to be a fun one to take over, and the person who did send this over to me, you're gonna probably see some movement on this pretty quick, if you do things the right way, of course. So the volume we're looking at is over 10,000, so it's totally worth my time. But it also has a lot of these LSI keywords over here. Fantastic. It's totally the reason I want to look at this first is just to see, is this something that is worth my time? Is it worth my time to not only write it, but is it worth my time to even optimize it? Is the traffic value there? And is it possible for me to get there because given the keyword difficulty? So those are the things that I'm evaluating. In this case, abso-freaking-lutely, right? So let's go. Next thing that I want to do is run it through MarketMuse. And of course, from the last video that I showed you, MarketMuse will show you kind of not only how you compare with the other articles out there, well, in this case, because it's a competitor's article, it's going to tell me all of their opportunities that they're missing, right? So it's a slight little mindset switch. So throwing a football, they don't mention Super Bowl once. They don't mention quarterback once. NFL draft, not really. You probably don't want to mention that so much. Football spiral, they've never mentioned a football spiral. I bet we can work that into a sentence very easily. Air resistance hasn't been mentioned once. Game. They've mentioned a few things, a couple of times about elbow, at a white ring, which I'm guessing is that part of the football. Obviously, I'm really, really into football, right? Yeah. High school hasn't mentioned high school. Ooh, very interesting. If you want to go after a particular target, Coach Mac, this would be an interesting one to go after. And you can also even take it even further and talk about what elementary school students might want to do to have a better spiral. Have a better spiral. Is that the right way to say it? Hall of Fame, quarterback throws. Ooh, yes, talking about some NFL quarterback throws. That's one thing that we do often is we bring like an article into a lifestyle. Or bring the article that's SEO driven into like a more lifestyle driven post. And by doing so, is talking about celebrities. We do that often here. So talking about some of the great quarterbacks. I hear like who's the most popular one that was just won the Super Bowl? The real hot one. What's his name? Can never remember his name. I'm bad with names, obviously. Football throwing hasn't been mentioned once. Anyways, you see my point here is there's a lot of missed opportunities, a lot of missed opportunities in keywords and topic comprehensiveness. So if I'm just going to bring up, I wish I had a better, no, let me just create like a quick outline and a software. I wish I planned better for this, but this article is great specifically for how to throw a football. But if you're looking at like what's the key topic, it's becoming, the key topic is actually quarterback, right? Quarterback. And yes, there is throwing, how to throw a football, but there's also, I'm sure, the offensive strategy basics, right? There's the top plays, possibly. Practice tips, right? The things that you need to practice. Probably conditioning tips too. Conditioning tips. Ooh, how to throw a football. We've not mentioned a couple of things here. Proper grip. Spinning ball. It makes it better to catch. Wow, that hasn't even been used. Where to put your hips. The passer. Receiver haven't been mentioned once. Facebook is not really relative. Okay, so then other things. Famous quarterbacks. Of course, we want to mention football spiral, air resistance, game, and of course all of these other keywords here that they have mentioned that I'm going to put in just a separate line item just so I know. By the way, in Market Muse, the closer you are to the top, the higher the, particularly the search volume, right? That's a rough way of thinking about it, but I like to include the entire list if it's relevant. So ball, football, throwing, throw a football, grip, thumb, spin. You see what I'm doing here. I'm organizing my list. These are my opportunities, my missed opportunities here. The really nice thing about Market Muse is their ability to also find you the variants of the keyword. So if you can see in my next little pop-up, click on this variants tab, all the things about the thumb are right over here, right? So obviously some of these things towards the bottom, they don't make too much sense, but the thumb turns, turns, singular, over thumb pick. These might be thumb spasms, what to do when you have thumb spasms. Spinning on the ball. Now these are a lot more applicable. Spinning ball of death. Maybe they're less applicable than I thought. All right, take these with a grain of salt, but you start to see other kinds of topics or other kinds of ways to say the same thing, which AKA means LSI, latent semantic index, right? So perfect football spiral. Probably want to mention that. It's another good one. It's a great one. Anyway, I would go through here and quickly pick out the words that I want to hit, in addition to the words that I'm obviously going to hit. So let's say I just grabbed all of them, right? And then pop them into Ahrefs to see what my actual opportunity is if I include all of those keywords. So it's obviously, it's going to be a lot higher than 10,000 keywords, definitely a lot higher than that, because we're not only adding to the keywords that this article could potentially be ranking for, but the ones that they haven't gotten yet. So it's going to be more, right? So that gives you a better sense of what targets you want to hit in terms of how much traffic you can expect to get from this particular article if you're ranked page 1 on, let's say, 10% of your keywords. So that gives you a really good idea of kind of setting some benchmarks and what you should expect from this article. And that way, the next time you come back to this and you decide on making some decisions on, do I want to go and republish this again? You're making decisions based upon the best areas to spend those resources, and not just purely on, I feel like writing or rewriting this article again, right? You're making a data-driven decision, which is, that's key. So let's go back into the article itself. How to throw a football, which is a really good departure from what's currently ranked number 1 for how to throw a football, which is how to throw a spiral. But I want to take this one step further, because titles have evolved a bit, and they've evolved and devolved almost, right? Because before it was all about the descriptive use of the keyword and the many uses of the keyword, but now it's turned now into, not only does your title have to have the keyword topic in place, but it has to also dazzle and get people to want to click on it. Important reason being, you can't tell Google what to put in the SERP anymore. The only couple of things you can tell them what to show is the title and the slug. And of course, if you have star rating, you can show your star ratings. But this is all pulled dynamically based upon what Google thinks is your search intent. So now metadata, in my opinion, is completely obsolete, because they're going to pull based upon what they think your most the intent of your search is. So you can't tell them what to show here anymore, which means you have no control over it. So you have to really take advantage of your titles and pique their curiosity right here. How to throw a football. AKA, who are you writing to? I'm assuming you're writing to a younger audience. The perfect spiral. The bulletproof method to the perfect spiral. By the way, you want to capitalize all of your title words, even though it makes no grammatical sense to do it. How to throw a football, the bulletproof method. How many words is this? How many characters is this? I want to be under 60. It's over by 10, so the word spiral will get cut off. How to throw a football, bulletproof way to the perfect spiral. I don't think I removed enough words, but 67, so 7 words. So can they see spiral if I take away? No, okay, I don't think I could use the word bulletproof. So I'm going to use the perfect spiral. It should be good, but I want to see how many words I have left. Okay, so I have 20 words left. Characters. Bulletproof, perfect way to. No, that's the same thing. Okay, the proven, let's try that. Proven way to, proven for the perfect spiral. I know, I spend a lot of time on the titles, like, please bear with me, guys. This is lovely. All right, I'll come back to that. So the number 1 research question on Google is, okay, so I like this first sentence because it does include that target keyword, but again, that just doesn't make, it's not like 100% needed anymore. And you only have a couple of sentences above the fold to dazzle this high school reader with a very short attention span. I don't think this is going to dazzle them, right? It's like just reaffirming that this is the question. But I almost think you want to go add a little more flavor to it. And instead, I'm sorry, I will, instead of, by the way, guys, I'm sorry, I'm going to be coughing in the middle and sneezing, and my allergies here are awful. So my nose is running, and my brain is too. Let's go. Some flavor. I would want to see some flavor text on, like, how great it is to throw that perfect spiral. Like, paint the picture in their heads, right? If you were an aspiring quarterback, this is what, like, paint that introduction, like that you're getting on the field, that feeling you get when you throw that perfect spiral and it lands perfectly in the hands of your receiver with a 50-yard pass or whatever. I am pulling this out of my ass. I apologize if I'm getting the terminology wrong, but paint that in a very concise way. It doesn't have to be super long. I love that you keep everything to a couple of sentences. The answer is you don't. Oh, well, that's a twist. I love that you italicize this. I would even bold that. You don't want to throw footballs. You want to throw touchdowns. Oh, I take this back. I take all of this back. I should have read it before I started running my mouth over here. I'm going to say, you don't need this at all. That pulls me in right away. How to throw a football? Proven for the perfect, proven method. For the perfect spiral. You know what? Now the title doesn't make sense because I'm starting off with this one. So I'm going to ask it again. How do you throw the perfect? I often get asked, because this is done with Coach Mac at the end. I often get asked by new aspiring players. How do you throw a football? How do you throw the perfect spiral? The answer is you don't. Awesome. So keep this sentence super, super short, because then they can get into your hook, which is right over here. You've hooked them. Let that sink in for a second. Sinking. Got it. Awesome. I love the flavor on this. I love the personality. Maybe you just had your whole perspective on playing quarterback shift. By the way, going back to this document with all the keywords that we want to mention, right? Spinning ball, catch. On playing quarterback shift. Hope you did. That's my job. Now if we get that cleared up. First, let me introduce you to, I'm Coach Mac. Awesome. Simplify it. Great. This is what I do when I edit, though. It's again, I'm just assuming that my English is already correct at this point. I'm looking for keyword value and I'm looking for readability. I don't need to do that anymore. Instead, I would do that. The spiral, how to throw farther, how to throw a problem, and almost like accuracy, right? Something about accuracy. And can we add anything over here? Football spiral, air resistance, the mechanics. Mechanics of throwing. Oh, we could probably add that throwing mechanics, air resistance into that section. So I'm just in my head, just getting to know it. Throw a crisp spiral first into the hands of your receiver. And I'm also looking at the other topics that I might want to write about and outbound link to. Of course, you make sure you have the article itself first. Boring sirens like football air resistance. Check. And understand further. Let's just throw in a couple more. Air resistance, gravity, and inertia. Really kind of drives the point home thing with that. So we invented bullets. Make sure that you're properly attributing these images unless you took them from like a stock photography thing that you paid for, like a royalty-free one. Okay, good. Angle of the attack. I like that you have, I'm guessing that these are your H3s, because these are going to be your H2s. Just make sure that you're noting those things, that these are H2s, and make sure that these are H3s. So article structure is critical. How to grip. Where's your thumb? Open your thumb. Okay, can we mention anything about the thumb here? Yes, you do. Awesome. Again, make sure that these are H3s and not just bolds when you are popping it into WordPress. I like that you have a video here. It's time to do some interlinking because it's been a while since we've interlinked. So I always want to put an interlink right below the fold, which should be right around here. That's my job. Throw a football. Is this a happy face? I'm not sure what's happening. I know this sounds a little spammy, but it's not because it's totally related. Best quarterback plays of all time. And what I would do here is, of course, it's going to be, we don't do blue links anymore. We use this like burnt orange link. And it's just, oops, that's hideously ugly. Not highlights. We're using this burnt orange color as our links. And I'm just doing that just so that you can see that it is supposed to be a link. And right now everything's looking green because I'm in suggest mode, but you can see what I'm trying to do here. But even then, this is going to be bright blue to show that it is a link on the Robin's Egg blue side. Oops. Yeah, so that's how it looks. See that? And again, it just catches the eye. And what that does is, on the topical coverage side, we are hitting offensive strategy basics. Ooh, I'm sorry, I changed it all. Best offensive quarterback, or I'm sorry, the offensive quarterback, basics you need to know. Okay. So you see what I'm doing? I'm mapping out the content that I'm going to need, but also adding in the keywords that are missing from the opportunity of this current ranked #1 guy, right? In addition to not only hitting the opportunities that they're missing, you have to hit the opportunities that they are getting as well. So that's all of these keywords right over here. So you want to make sure that you're hitting these keywords in addition to the ones that naturally make sense, because you don't want to just keyword stuff the crap out of this article. So content-wise, you're looking pretty good. Another thing that this article has that your article doesn't is they've got custom images with GIFs and custom little videos. What are these saved as? The little MP4s. Okay, so they've made MP4s out of each of these. Very high quality posts. It's going to be a little tougher to take on a video. So, and they've got community Q&A. All right, so this is, even though, okay, this is what I mean by like just being a little more strategic about like which articles you do want to go after. Like, even though on the keyword volume side, like the keyword difficulty side, I'm sorry, it says that it's a 4 out of 100, which says like it's pretty much yours for the taking. If you do a really good high quality content and you're following my the good SEO practices. But if you see this post itself, the quality of this post, the content upgrade level of this post is incredibly high, right? It's got videos on each of these list items. It's got comments and Q&A at the bottom. right? The only thing that I can think of is that if they haven't done any structured data, which I'm pretty sure that they did, but you can check by searching for structured data tool right over here from Google. Fetch anything. Actually, you know what? I don't think they do. They haven't set up their structured data correctly because they didn't get, oh, they did. Yes, they did. I take it back. They did set up their how-to article correctly. Let's see if they set up their Q&A correctly. And this is just telling Google exactly what's in their article. View action. And article type with the question and answer. Okay, so they're missing out on the opportunity to also let Google know that they've got all of these questions and comment section. And there's a really cool structured data element where you can vote up and vote down, which is awesome. Granted, Google probably already knows it's here because they've definitely crawled it. And they've got a video. So a couple of opportunities here to beat this article, and you might not be able to get maybe position 1, but there's a lot of room here. There's a chance for you to rank position 2, position 3, position 4. You know, it's not just the number 1 guy is going to get all the traffic. He does get the lion's share, but your goal isn't to be number 1 at first. It's to rank page 1, which means position 1 through 10. So let's do the first step first is get you to page 1, beat out all these other fools, right? So, grip the football. I mean, it's a very easily readable article with nothing but a bunch of lists, photos. You can take this guy down pretty easily because it's a basic article, right? And the word count is low, and Google equates higher word count. If you check out higher word count, this one has 2,000 words in it, including all the comments. So you kind of have to take this with a grain of salt. So Market Muse pulls in like all of the comments. So really the amount of words that they have, 1,600, so right at the 1,500 mark, right? So we talked about how that's like the sweet spot. So you're doing a lot of things. Let me see how many words we have here. 1,900 and almost 2,000 words. Fantastic. It seems like you have a free report. I would throw in an infographic here. If you can, make a little slideshow video and make it through like Animoto or like Lumen 5 so that, again, you're hitting a check mark of video and you can submit that video as structured data to Google, letting them know that, yay, I've got my own custom video too. And of course, you're an infographic. And make sure that you pop in those share buttons on top of your Sumo.me has a really great plugin. When we popped it into our lifestyle properties, increased our Pinterest shares by like 30% with just installation. Took 10 seconds to do. Increased our image shares on Pinterest by 30% overnight. Freaking easy. But really good stuff. I mean, you have the mechanics down. Just take a look and make sure that if you do want to go crazy, right, get this article into Market Muse, run it from Market Muse, and get your content score and compare it against this content score over here so that you can see how you really compare. When you are going after a competitive kill article, though, you never want to go after the guy that's ranked position 10. You always kind of want to shoot above that because eventually you want to get to position 1. So if you are doing competitive kill, make sure you're going after position 1, which means all the bells and whistles that goes along with it. Even if you're not launching the content piece with the video or the infographic yet, do it as a republishing strategy when you come back and see if it's working. Like, let's say the article, if you launch it, ranks on position 3, goes from position non-existent to page 3, right? Even though you're non-existent to the rest of the world finding you, that shows upward momentum and movement. So that gives you a really good reason to, maybe I should spend the time and resources to make a video or to make an infographic. So you make some better decisions that way. Again, optimizing things that are already working and making them work even better. So that's something that we do all the time. I hope this was helpful. I'm so sorry it was long and a little rambly, but thanks for letting me rip this up for you. I love looking at other articles. So if you are, this wasn't so bad, right? I mean, I actually kind of like this one. This is an easy one to do. I love it. But if you would like to like for me to rip up one of your articles, please do send them my way. My email is keren@plattr.com. More than happy to do it, and hope this is super helpful to you.